Good morning, dear students. In today's video, we shall be dealing with the rest of the lesson 25, the state government. As it was already explained in your previous video, we have discussed about the state legislature, we have got about the Vidhan Parishad, and we have got about the Vidhan Sabha. In this video, we shall be dealing with mainly 2 points, and we can say we shall be discussing about the state executive. As it was already told you that the state government, it has got 3 organs: the state legislature, the state executive, and the state judiciary. About state legislature we discussed in our previous video, and in today's video we shall be discussing about state executive. Executive means they generally implement the laws. The legislature, they make the law; executive, they implement the law; and the judiciary, they punish the people who generally break the law. Okay, now about the state executive, we can say mainly about 2 points we'll be discussing: about the governor as well as about the chief minister of a state. First of all, the governor. The chief executive authority of a state rests with the governor. We can say the chief executive authority or the constitutional power, the main constitutional power, it is there with the hand of the governor. He serves till the pleasure of the president. Governor is generally appointed by the president of our country, and he serves in a particular state till the pleasure of the president. I hope you know who is the present governor of Arunachal Pradesh. It is Mr. B.D. Mishra. You can see here is a picture of Mr. B.D. Mishra, who is the present governor of Arunachal Pradesh. Next point is qualification. If a person wants to become the governor, or what are the qualifications required for the post of governor? It's very simple. The first point is a citizen of India. Definitely we know that a person or a foreigner cannot be made the governor of any one of the Indian states. So a person, he must be one citizen of India to be the governor. Second one, he should be mentally and physically sound. Sound means here we can say he should be mentally fit as well as physically fit. Third one is about age. A person, if wants to become a governor, his age should be minimum 35 years. If it is less than 35 years, he is not qualified to be the governor. And the last one is he should not have any criminal record. If a person satisfies the first 3 qualifications but has got any criminal record, he is not qualified for the post of the governor. So these are the 4 qualities which are required for the post of the governor. Now the next point that we are going to study is here about term of office. Means the governor is appointed for how many years? That is the simple meaning of term of office. A governor is appointed for 5 years. Generally we can say a government is appointed for a particular state for the time period of 5 years. After the expiry of 5 years, when this term of 5 years is expired or it is over, he may be appointed to the same state or may be transferred. Means after the expiry of this 5 years, once his time of 5 years is over, after that he may be again appointed at the same state or he may be transferred to some other state by the president. He can also be removed from office before the expiry of his term if the president so desires. No doubt the governor is appointed for 5 years, but if the president feels that the governor of a particular state is not doing his duty properly or is not able to discharge his duties properly, even before the expiry of 5 years, he can be removed from the post or he can be transferred to some other states. That's about term of office. Next is here pay and allowances. What is the salary of the governor? What are the defined facilities which are availed to a governor? The governor of a state is paid a salary. We do not know what is the exact salary, but he is paid a salary by the central government plus a number of allowances. Defined facilities are generally availed to a governor. He is entitled to the Raj Bhavan. We can say Raj Bhavan, it is the official residence of the governor. As you know, the president, he resides in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is in New Delhi, And governor, he generally resides in the Raj Bhavan. If you will go to Itanagar, you can see the Raj Bhavan, it is there. That's the official residence of the governor. And it is fully furnished with all the household servants free of charge. In the Raj Bhavan, all the household servants, all the housemaids, or the different others like the cooks, the cook, the other servants like the sweeper, or the different servants, they are there in the Raj Bhavan, and they are paid by the central government, not by the governor. That's about pay and allowances. The next important point that we are going to study is here now about powers. What are the powers of the governor? We can say the governor power can be classified into three types. One is executive power, one is legislative power, another one is judiciary power. Let's study one by one. First one is executive power. He is the constitutional head of the state. I already told you the governor is the constitutional head of the state. No doubt, governor, he is not the actual head of the state. The actual power of the state rests with the chief minister, but he is the constitutional head. He appoints the leader of the majority party in the state Vidhan Sabha as the chief minister. After the election of Vidhan Sabha is over, the leader of the Vidhan Sabha in the Vidhan Sabha of the majority party will be appointed as the chief minister by the governor. He also appoints the other ministers on the recommendation of the chief minister. We shall be discussing in the next part of this video that once the chief minister is appointed, the different other ministers, they would be appointed by the governor. No doubt, the governor do not have any choice in the appointment of the ministers. The choice is generally made by the chief minister, but they are officially appointed as the ministers by the governor. That's about the executive power. The legislative power. He addresses the opening session of the legislative assembly when the chief minister will be elected or appointed and the other ministers will be appointed. After that, in the first session of the legislative assembly, the governor, he would address the opening ceremony. No bill can become a law without his signature. About bill and law, I shall be explaining you in the next chapter. Bill means a proposed law, and when the bill is passed and the rule is made, that is known as law. And no bill can become a law without his signature. If the governor does not sign in the bill, it cannot become one law. Even no money bill can be introduced in the Vidhan Sabha without the prior approval of the governor. We can say governor, he is the representative of the central government to the state, and that's why we can say if the members of the Vidhan Sabha wants to introduce any money bill in the Vidhan Sabha, they have to get prior approval letter or prior permission from the governor to introduce it into the Vidhan Sabha. That's about the legislative powers. Next comes judicial powers. He can pardon, commute or reprieve punishment on receipt of appeals for mercy. Generally, you know that judiciary, the system of judiciary, what is explained in the next chapter, we know the system of courts, the district court, the high court or the supreme court, they generally have the judicial powers. But the governor of a state also has got some judicial powers. He can change the decision which is already been given by the high court. Means if any person has been given any punishment, that person can be pardoned by the governor. Even he can give punishment to a particular person, or he can change the different types of punishments on receipt of appeals for mercy. If any victim or any person who has been given a particular type of punishment by the high court and he appeals for mercy to the governor, and if the governor feels to change the decision given by the high court, he can do it. He may change the death penalty into life imprisonment. If a person is given death penalty by the high court, the governor can change the death penalty into life imprisonment or may pardon the so-called culprit altogether. What it means, in some circumstances, in some situations, the governor has got more power than the system of courts also. That's about the judicial powers. So we have studied about the governor, his powers, his facilities, his terms of office. Now we are going to deal with the last point of this chapter, that's about the Chief Minister and his Council of Ministers. First of all, we shall try to understand about the Chief Minister. Before going to explain you this all, I hope you know who is the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. It's Mr. Pema Khandu. As you can see, here is a picture of Pema Khandu. He is the present Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. The leader of the majority party in the Vidhan Sabha is appointed the Chief Minister by the Governor of the state. Once the election of the Vidhan Sabha is over, then the leader of the majority party, about majority party and minority party, I already explained in your previous chapter while explaining about the election and the other points. So when the election of the Vidhan Sabha will be over, the leader of the majority party in the Vidhan Sabha would be elected or would be appointed as the Chief Minister by the Governor. The appointment of other members of the State Council of Ministers is also made by the Governor. I already told you before some time that it is not possible for the Chief Minister to control all the fields of a state, and that's why he needs the help of his Council of Ministers, like we can say Education Minister, Health Minister, like the different ministers will be there, and those ministers also would be appointed by the Governor on recommendation of the Chief Minister. Already it was told that the Governor does not have any choice for the different ministers, but he only officially he appoints the different ministers. The choice is there with the hand of the Chief Minister. Chief Minister, he decides to whom he would give the different portfolios. We can say there are three categories of ministers. This Council of Ministers can be classified or can be categorized into three types. One is Cabinet Minister, one is Ministers of State, and the last one is Deputy Minister. Cabinet Ministers means we can say they are the ministers or they are the representative of the state in the center, and the Ministers of State, they generally look after the different affairs of the state, and the Deputy Minister, they look after the different matters of the different districts. That's about Chief Minister and his Council of Ministers. Now the last part of this chapter that we are going to study here is functions and powers of the Chief Ministers. What are the different functions which are generally performed by the Chief Minister, and what are his powers? The duties of the Chief Minister of a state in India are exactly the same as those of the Prime Minister at the center. We can say in our country, in Indian democracy, the power of Chief Minister or the duties of Chief Minister and the duties and powers of the Prime Minister are same, almost. Just the area of their work is different. The Prime Minister, he works for the center, for the entire country, and the Chief Minister generally works for a particular state. But you should also know that the Chief Minister or the different ministers of the state, they cannot overtake the decisions which are taken by the Prime Minister or at the center. The Governor acts on the advice of the Chief Minister. As it was already told you, Governor is the nominal head of a state. He is not the real head. The real head of a state is the Chief Minister. Generally, the Governor, he acts on the advice of the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister decides what to do and what not to do, and the Governor just acts as per his advice. He can ask for the resignation of any minister. He means here the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister, if he feels that any of his ministers are not discharging his duties properly, he can ask the resignation of that particular minister. He presides over the meetings of the cabinet. Whenever any meeting of the cabinet will be held, that meeting will be controlled or it will be presided over by the Chief Minister. He distributes the portfolios of his ministers as he desires. As it was already told you that the Council of Ministers, the different portfolios like the Education Minister, the Health Minister, these different portfolios would be generally distributed by the Chief Minister. Only in emergency, the Governor can override his advice, otherwise not. The Governor, who is the constitutional head of a state, he can only override the advice of the Chief Minister in times of emergency. Otherwise, Chief Minister, he is the master of his state. That's about the governor and the chief minister. So the chapter is completed. You need to go through the video properly, and if there is any doubt, you please get it cleared from me. Thank you very much.